Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwarash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who do well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainar. The title of this video is Billionaire basically says the end of the audience. Now, what I did was I typed this title in Google so I can copy and paste it, paste it into my title, whatever. But when I do this, usually something pops up that I may or may not use. The overview says, billionaire investor Ray Dalio has warned that the United States is in the late stages of its tenure as a dominant global empire. He cautions that unsustainable debt, rising inflation, and geopolitical conflicts have pushed the post-1945 world order to a critical breaking point. All right, and pretty much that's where we're at. In the world, we're at a tipping point, a critical breaking point, right, where America is at its end, right? But really and truly, it's the end of the current age, right? And the new age is about to begin, right? We're on the last leg of the Roman Empire, all right, and it's over, right? That's why, Second Ezra, which I got, chapter 9, goes into the different signs of the end. So this is just a different billionaire that said that, all right, and all the signs are there, and this is just another warning. All right, let me get this. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13. The point I want is in 23. Okay, I'm just getting from 21. It says, verse 21, Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 21. It says, a rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. When a rich man is falling, he have many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify it. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. All right, and the point of that is the Most High Yahweh Bashan Shah has prophets, men here set in lowly places, right, to basically confound the wise, but you still not hearkening to the message, of the prophets, right? But maybe you listen to a rich man. All right, let me grab this. This is First Corinthians, right, chapter 1 and verse 27. Matter of fact, let me just start at 26. It says, First Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26 says, for ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Right. For the most part, Jake, and it's true, Jake is simple. Right. The scriptures say it'd be easier for a camel to pass through the head of a pin, right, than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom, roughly paraphrasing the scriptures, right? So the Most High has chose, lowly brothers, not, billionaires, millionaires, and just super well off, but of course we're getting by, right? Never heard of before individuals, just regular Jake, right, telling you all the mysteries of the scriptures, right, and the things that's, coming on planet Earth. First Corinthians 1:26, it says, for ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. And notice it says after the flesh, currently in this present time, because we are God's lowercase g, shout out the form, right? Shout out the form. All right. We are God's lowercase g. We're the sons of God. All right. And we are mighty and great, but we are, in a lowly position right now currently. So reading that again, First Corinthians 1:26, it says, for you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise, not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but Yahweh has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, right? And Yahweh have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things that are mine, right? Because all we coming up with is the few dollars that we got together as a body, right, in the scriptures, in the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of those scriptures, right? And the enemies can't gainsay nor resist the words of Yahweh Yahweh. All right. It says, verse 27 again, it says, but Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And Yahweh have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised have Yahweh chosen. Yeah, and things which are not to bring to naught things that are. All right. You can just write it in the NLT. It says, Yahweh chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, and used them to bring to nothing what the world considers important. What is it going to, bringing down these strongholds, which we do, right? The Lord's prophet. But again, the point, is that, you don't listen to the prophets, right? But you might listen to a rich man, right? You have these rich individuals around the world preparing themselves, buying bunkers, telling you not to invest in America and whatnot, So that's what the first three scriptures was talking about, right? Verses 21 and 22. How you rather, list or help the rich man instead of the lowly man, right? But anyway, verse 23 says the point. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he said. They stole it to the clouds. And what I just thought about too, I seen a TikTok video, like a dude, he just hopped in a Lamborghini with a rental, or not even his car. He asked somebody can use it for 2 seconds. He flipped open the phone and he started saying, if you want to get rich, I can tell you like 3 different steps to do it, whatever the case may be. But he's in a Lamborghini, so people are like, oh, they're gonna listen to him because they think he's smart, They see that he might have money or that he might be rich. Right? Verse 23 says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he said, they stole it to the clouds. But the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. All right. So you rather listen to the rich man than the poor man. And what I'm gonna do is play this clip. All right, right here. I want to get this First Corinthians, right? Because all this is okay. I just read this. Okay, so that is next. So I want to do it in order, to make it make sense or whatever. But let me play this clip, and it says, "Billionaire warning: I'm selling. Cash is already here. I'm sorry, the crash is already here." All right, so now this dude here has 17.7 million subscribers. He gets people to, obviously view his network, and I'm pretty sure he's been used, to push certain things. So when I seen this video, and the first 2 minutes tells you everything you need to know about the warning, and that's pretty much what I want to do. Right, and I believe this is Satan, allowing the world to know what's coming when they do things like this, because you have what's something called a revelation of the method, right?
What advice do you give for the average person that's looking to invest their salary or their wages?
Don't own US stocks. That's a simple strategy that you can act on.
But what about S&P 500?
The man said the first 5 seconds, don't own US stock.
No, really? Yeah. And if you have a big position in US technology stock.
So I'm trying to restart the video, but it's, as you can see.
What advice do you give for the average person that's looking to invest their salary or their wages?
Don't own US stocks. That's a simple strategy that you can act on.
But what about S&P 500?
So, in what lifetime would you say don't own US stock? In the current lifetime, when the end is here, right? When you see America is about to be thrown out the door.
No.
What advice do you give for the average person that's looking to invest their salary or their wages?
Don't own US stocks. That's a simple strategy that you can act on.
What about S&P 500?
No, really? Yeah. And if you have a big position in US technology stock, my personal advice would be to sell it all.
But I'm an investor in SpaceX.
Good luck. SpaceX is such a fabulous BS story, and we can go into that.
Crypto?
No,
Why?
it's an unnecessary piece of nonsense that facilitates nothing except criminals moving money, but they can't be seen.
Do you think Bitcoin's going to go to zero?
Yes, it will certainly go to zero.
So how many years have you spent investing?
60 years,
And what's the most amount of money you've ever managed of other people's money?
165 billion.
And one of the things you're famous for talking about is this idea of bubbles.
Yes, and bubbles always occur around the very most important ideas. So the railroads, everyone could see that it would change the world. The same with the internet. And everyone wanted to put their money in. And so they overinvested. But this is the problem. Eventually, they bust. And if you look at the great bubbles breaking of the past, you find that it's followed by really tough times, a miserable period for the economy. And the bigger the bubble, the bigger the bust. And now we're in the biggest investment bubble that arguably has ever occurred, AI.
Are we on the verge of a collapse with AI over the coming years?
The next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, but certainly the next few years.
So if you're not someone that has a huge amount of savings, what kind of strategy should they be adopting when an economy starts to get bad and there's an economic bubble collapse?
So I will go through everything, but you will not receive this advice from investment advisors because they'll lose a lot of business.
And would you be thinking about the country you live in at this moment in time?
Absolutely.
Is there any countries you wouldn't live in?
I think I have to.
All right. So another question he asked: would you be thinking about the countries that you live in at this time? And he said yes. And now he's asking them. We'll just listen.
To refuse to answer this on the grounds that it might tend to incriminate me.
He said, all right, so the dude asked him where he might live, and he said he refused to answer because it might incriminate him. You know, and that's when I was like, what do you mean by that? You know, and that's why I said revelation of the method, you know, because maybe there's a place where he gets that he knows as a billionaire that he knows maybe well off. Take, for example, Argentina, where we see these small islands fleeing to, you know, kind of out of the crosshairs of the World War III that's brewing, right? And he refused to answer the question. So that I found that interesting.
Receive this advice from investment advisors because they'll lose a lot of business.
And would you be thinking about the country you live in at this moment in time?
Absolutely.
Is there any countries you wouldn't live in?
I think I have to refuse to answer this on the grounds that it might tend to incriminate me.
Oh, okay. So you're saying don't live in the United States? I've just moved here. Why not the United States? This is super.
All right, so he couldn't answer the question of why not the United States, you know, or maybe he does answer it in the video, but we know, you know. But I just want to throw that out there. This 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. Now that leads me to revelation of the method. Right? What is that? Revelation of the method is in esoteric. Says intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with specialized knowledge or interest. All right. So esoteric and political concept popularized by researcher Michael A. Hoffman II in his book Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare. It describes a psychological warfare technique where secretive power structures or elites reveal their hidden plans, occult symbols, or nefarious, right, intentions. Let's see this one. Nefarious, it says, typically of an action or activity wicked or criminal, right? So they reveal their nefarious intentions in plain sight, often through pop culture, news media, and mass entertainment. You know, and you know, something I heard that elder apostles say before, you know, which they did more, you know, research into these secret societies and how they operate, and then you know, alive a lot longer, you know, to understand when they say things like these secret societies do things like a revelation of the method. They have to show you what they're about to do, before they do it, or speak it, out in an open. Some say like humiliation, rituals or whatever the case may be. But this is something they do, and I see it for myself in the movies, right? Like Leave the World Behind, the ones that the Obamas pushed out, where you had the planes falling out of the sky, and now you have the planes today shutting down, which a lot of planes did fall out of the sky, but really flight is shutting down because of the oil, right? And matter of fact, when the movie opened up, the first thing that the movie did was have a big ass oil tanker hit the beach. You know what that means? It ain't going nowhere. It ain't traveling in the ocean no more. And look at the Strait of Hormuz now, closed down. And what followed after that? War, people going into bunkers, people fighting. And mind you, that wasn't the city, right? That wasn't inside the city. This was just at a point where they were like out in the countryside type area, and they could see the city. You had the AI vehicles driving by themselves, blocking, the highway and whatnot. You get second edges, or the 16 or 15, going into a man designing going to a city, trying not to be able to. So a lot was happening in that movie, and that was a good example of revelation of the method. So what you could do is go watch the movie produced by the Obamas, like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, right? It's called Leave the World Behind or something like that. And then just, look at what's happening in the world regarding oil, travel, right? Preppers, war, and all of that. So that's what I believe a lot of this stuff is, when you see it posted up like that. And really it's just another warning because the time is short. Matthew 16:1 says the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? All right, so we're it's about to go down basically. The wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them in the party, right? So the Most High Yahweh, the Bahashim Yahushai, right, as men on earth right now, warning, our people and the rest of the nations what's to come. All right, no one's left in the dark. Second Ezra's chapter 9, verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, but when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest began to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, we have earthquakes in what? It was Venezuela. And that's our people. Asher. I was just laughing. I said, damn, so most of them take your oil, not hit you with a double whammy earthquake. Because our people are hard-headed, stiff-necked people, right? You don't want to listen. I even made a video about that when the dude Maduro, which I think we've seen him like once, maybe since he's been locked up, but that's about it. He was talking about the Jews over there is not the real Jews. So he got all this information, but he got a whole country, that he could have, operated in order. All right. But the Most High hemmed them up. All right. And now Venezuela feeling it, but that's earthquakes, right? A lot of those are happening. You got uproars. You got the situation with Jared Kushner over there trying to be the next Epstein, over in Albania. People just on edge, and they see what's happening. So that's uproars of the people in the world. All right, you had a lot of no kings events in America. It's uproars all over the place. It says, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? For like that's all that made in the world at the beginning and the end, and it's manifest. You know, and it's clear as day. You know, it's clear as day. Now is the time to, you know, get right with the owl, watching our shot. You see the elites, they're buying bunkers, right? They're preparing preppers, is, you know, buying up food and they're growing food and trying to prepare it. All right. It says, even so, the times also the highest have plenty of beginnings and wonder and found births and endings and effects and signs. Right. And we're seeing those effects and signs now, you know. So again, I'm gonna play this video, but hey, straight like that, a simple warning, you know.
What advice do you give for the average person that's looking to invest their salary or their wages?
Don't own US stocks. That's a simple strategy that you can act on.
But what about S&P 500?
No. Really? Yeah. And if you have a big position in US technology stock, my personal advice would be to sell it all.
But I'm an investor in SpaceX.
Good luck. SpaceX is such a fabulous BS story, and we can go into that.
Crypto?
No.
Why?
It's an unnecessary piece of nonsense that facilitates nothing except criminals moving money.
Now, Slocky, too, we got to know what's coming. You know, the MOTB, digital currency, where they control and operate and run it. All this stuff we're seeing right now don't matter. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, coin, you know, these different things, because they about to enter into a new system. The dollar is gone. All right. You know, shit. You know, who knows if they gonna how they gonna do their investing, you know, things anymore with the digital money and all of that. You know. So.
But they can't be seen.
Do you think Bitcoin's going to go to zero?
Yes, it will certainly go to zero.
So how many years have you spent investing?
He said, yeah, it's certainly going to go to zero, you know? And thinking about it, like I just said, Bitcoin don't matter, you know, unless, you know, which I don't see happen. They say, oh, well, the new currency is the Bitcoin currency, whatever the case may be, you know, which don't make no sense anyway. All right, it's all going to go to zero. It's all being reset. That's what they're trying to reset the whole world.
60 years.
And what's the most amount of money you've ever managed of other people's money?
165 billion.
And one of the things you're famous for talking about is this idea of bubbles.
Yes, and bubbles always occur around the very most important ideas.
And what I wanted to talk about right here was they talking about bubble. They, you know, they gonna try to blame it on something, you know, but it's about to go down. This is their plan right now. Oil is, you know, acting crazy. We know clear as day because of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. You know, and these individuals, you know, the banking elites, you know, propping it up with, you know, spending the money and investing it and things like that. We've seen different people like Warren Buffett and whatnot take out trillions of dollars out of the stock market or however you do it, and people lose their money and things like that. We call them whales. You know, so these whales, right, are manipulating the market. But Trump says it's the oil companies. He said the oil companies is fucking us. That's what he said. So they, you know, they'll try to find something to blame it on, but it don't really matter because it's going to happen, you know, so you need to be ready for that.
So the railroads, everyone could see that it would change the world. The same with the internet. And everyone wanted to put their money in. And so they overinvested. But this is the problem. Eventually, they bust. And if you look at the great bubbles breaking of the past, you find that it's followed by really tough times, a miserable period for the economy.
Jacob Trouble. All right. Jacob's trouble, a time like never before. That's what we're about to enter into. And what they think is going to come out of that is, you know, their new world order. But really, it just leads to everybody being tested with that micro C hit. All right, and how Shai coming back, because in the midst of all of this, oh my goodness, there's so much happening. The war of Russia and Ukraine is now heating up. You know, where they're openly talking about NATO. And NATO's open talking about Russia, you know. So it's a lot happening, and it's speeding up quick. You know, the attacks are still happening in the Strait of Hormuz, of course. With them saying it's a peace deal and it's closed and it's open, whatever it's going to be. They don't know who's doing it. Is it Iran? Is it Israel doing a false flag? You know, it's just chaos.
And the bigger the bubble, the bigger the bust. And now we're in the biggest investment bubble that arguably has ever occurred, AI.
Are we on the verge of a collapse with AI over the coming years?
The next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, but certainly the next few years.
So if you're not someone that has a huge amount of savings, what kind of strategy should they be adopting when an economy starts to get bad and there's an economic bubble collapse?
So I will go through everything, but you will not receive this advice from investment advisors because they'll lose a lot of business.
And would you be thinking about the country you live in at this moment in time?
Absolutely.
Is there any countries you wouldn't live in?
I think I have to refuse to answer this on the grounds that it might tend to incriminate me.
Oh, okay. So you're saying don't live in the United States? I've just moved here. Why not the United States?
You know, things like when Bill Gates talking about, oh, the next one is going to get him. You know, that's just the perfect example. And what I mean by that is when the CVID happened and, you know, people, I guess, rapidly got ahead of it and they started pushing out, you know, the juice jabs. Bill Gates talking about, you know, or whatever, if it was the actual, you know, CVID event or the juice jabs, he said the next one going to get him. And he was talking about pestilences and juice jabs and things like that, right? And matter of fact, it's already out now that was a whole type of psyop operation, you know, with the government. And look, prophets are here telling you, don't trust these devils, don't take it. Like, they're still going to do what they're going to do, but it's up to you to just tell them to hell with you, you know? Yeah, brothers ain't take, you know, brothers is good. You know, you might, some brothers may have to switch from a different job, but that's better than walking around not knowing what the hell is going inside your body. It suddenly died and all this extra, you know? So, you know, Lord willing, you edify from the rest of Shalom to the hope of elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.